We're mere hours away from the Avengers Endgame, the climactic conclusion to more than a decade's worth of Marvel movies. I have no idea how it's going to end, but I think I might know a game that does. Believe it or not, Marvel Superheroes by Capcom sees Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, and Spider-Man fighting Thanos in a story based on the Infinity Gauntlet comic series. So you know what that means, it's time to use the Infinity Stones to see if this 24-year-old arcade fighter holds the clues to the end of Endgame. Turn back now if you don't want to know what happens next, because today we're going to spoil the story and all 13 endings of Marvel Superheroes. This is Game Over, the early years. Released in arcades back in 1995, and then later ported to the PlayStation and Saturn, Marvel Superheroes is the follow-up to Capcom's popular X-Men Children of the Atom arcade cabinet. This time around, we get a nice mix of both X-Men and Avengers characters, all going up against Thanos in a game loosely based on the Infinity Gauntlet storyline. Normally, I'd go over the details and describe the steps that get us to the ending, but that's not something I can do with Marvel Superheroes. This is a fighting game where everybody basically has the same story. Fight a bunch of Marvel characters and eventually defeat Thanos. Now, this is even Thanos' storyline. The point is, don't expect a whole lot of setup in this episode. So, apparently there are these 6 Infinity Stones that Thanos is trying to collect. Space, reality, power, mind, time, and soul. We spend our time fighting other popular heroes and villains trying to nab them, only to later hand them over to the purple bad guy at the very end. Thanos is a real jerk, and a snap comes with fatal consequences. Let's go ahead and see what happens when Captain America wins the fight. Thanos has been defeated, and Thor, She-Hulk, and the rest of our friends have had their stony curse lifted. Now that we've established the formula, let's go ahead and take a look at all of the endings, starting with the Avengers and then moving on to the X-Men. I'll be back at the end with some thoughts and reviews. Here's what happens next.
Let's rock!
Waste of flesh! Blackheart rises! I'm supreme.
Thanos reigns!
Now, it's probably worth mentioning that Anita is also in the game. That's the little girl from Capcom's Darkstalkers franchise. She doesn't really have an ending, but it does show the rest of the Marvel characters break free from being stone statues. Much like the Street Fighter II endings, I like how different each of these stories are. We get a playful Hulk celebrating with Betty, Spider-Man learning that he's about to become a father, Iron Man showing his weakness, the Juggernaut getting screwed over by Adam Warlock, and even Wolverine going off to find his origins. Hopefully he doesn't watch that Wolverine origin movie because it's terrible. There are also a number of dark endings, like when Shuma-Gorath uses the Infinity Gauntlet to destroy planets, Magneto creates Avalon on a second moon, and of course Blackheart ruling the universe. And then there's Thanos, who seems to sign on to Magneto's Avalon plan and sets out to retire on a farm. I mean, we definitely see the farm and the Scarecrow in the Endgame trailers, but I don't think we're gonna see Magneto show up to create a second moon. And if he does, you'd think that Black Bolt over on Adelant would have a problem with that. Oh god, not the Inhumans. Anything but the Inhumans. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Game Over, the early years. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new episodes every Monday. Now here's the question I have for you. Who is your favorite Marvel character? You can be a good guy, a bad guy, or somebody in between. Let me see your picks in the comments below. In other news, I'm currently hard at work on reviews for Super Blood Hockey, Feather, The Knight and the Dragon, and something called Jet X. In the meantime, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.